Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this week's Friday Reads, where I talk about everything I read in the last week, what I'm currently in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to be getting to next week. And I did finish a few things, which is great. The first one being Honestly, Elliot by Gillian McDunn. So this is a contemporary middle grade book, and we're following our main character of Elliot, who has a lot on his plate. He has this huge project for school that a big chunk of his grade is writing on, and he's trying to save up money to go to culinary school over summer, and he's trying to get his dad to take his cooking seriously, and he's doing all of this while also trying to learn how to work with and around his ADHD. And the story kind of goes from there. Now, this is a book that my older child picked out, and with those books, I am not doing full reviews for them because honestly, they're not meant for me, and they're not books that I ever would have picked out for myself. Now, that being said, I do think that this is a nice book if what you're looking for is a contemporary middle grade book. And especially if you have a young person in your life that has ADHD. I know that my older child really connected with Elliot over that aspect of it. And so I do think that this is a nicely done book. If you're not into middle grade, I don't think this is gonna be the book for you. It doesn't kind of bridge that gap for adults who don't like middle grade, but for people who do, it is a nice middle grade book. And then I finished the audiobook of Artificial Condition by Martha Wells, which is the second Murderbot Diaries book novella. And in this one, we are following our main character of Murderbot, who is a construct, which means that they're basically an AI but have some biological components. Murderbot in particular is a sec unit, and in this book they are trying really hard to run away from feelings. Honestly, they're running away from their feelings that happened, things that happened at the end of the last book, basically. And in doing so, they decide to take a job as a security consultant, and of course things go awry immediately, and the story goes from there. Like I said, I read this on audiobook. It is a reread, which is at this point the only thing I think I can listen to as an audiobook, but it was nice. I have been listening to this as I do more creative things like knitting or cross stitch or any of that kind of thing, because I'm finding that having two things going at once is the correct amount for my brain. And so it's been really nice to re-listen to these. I love Murderbot, and consuming them as an audiobook is helping me to hear different parts of the story that I kind of maybe glossed over when I was reading it before. So this was still highly enjoyable, and I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And then I picked up something that was not even on my radar last week, and that is The Secret of the Old Clock by Carolyn Keene. This is the first Nancy Drew mystery book. If you've never heard of this, Nancy Drew is a teenage detective. She's 18, but she solves mysteries, basically. These were written in the 1930s. They are very old. I picked this up because I'm doing a challenge, and one of them was to read a classic novel. And the thing is, I don't do classics, mostly because their writing style is really difficult for me to decipher. It's really a struggle, and I don't enjoy that struggle. And especially because I just do not have that brain power at this point. I didn't want to struggle through that kind of a book. So I went ahead and picked up something that I had read as a kid and I knew I liked, and I could potentially count it as a classic. However, what I will say is this is a little bit disillusioning because it's not good. It's so bad. It's the kind of bad where you take screenshots and send them to your friends and say, "What is this?" Part of it is definitely just it's dated, and I knew that going in that it was going to be very dated. What I didn't expect was that actually it's poorly written. Like the sentences, like the logic of the sentences don't necessarily follow. Nancy Drew is not a good like detective. She's like, I think this is what happens, and then she proceeds as if that is basically the only way that it could be. Like she doesn't actually like do any sleuthing much, really. It's a little strange. Also did not realize that Nancy Drew is very definitely coded as at least upper middle class into wealthy. Probably wealthy. She's got her own car at 18. Like she is, I mean, just there's some stuff in there, which makes sense because her dad's a lawyer, but at the same time, like, did not catch that as a kid and like some of the implications for the plot of that. Anyway, it was really interesting to read this through an adult's eyes. However, I kind of wish I had kept it in my past because it's not good. I'm not going to be continuing with this series. I think that if you wanted to read this, it's probably going in with that expectation of, yes, it is very dated, and like YA books at this point are just so much better that you can't really compare them. You have to go in with those expectations. And I would also say that it wouldn't be bad to read to like an elementary school kid, with or to an elementary school kid. However, like much beyond that, there's going to be maybe some eye rolling at like just the complete lack of logic in this world. So, yeah, I mean, okay, wait. I guess I gotta say, there is logic. It's just Nancy's logic does not follow because she's making assumptions, right? Okay, there we go. Anyway, it doesn't hold up. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I'm not going to continue with the series. And that's it. That's everything that I finished last week. So now for the things that I'm in the middle of. The one that is coming to is now on like basically every single video. Voyage of the Basilisk. Didn't make any progress. I really want to make progress. I did not, though. And then I'm also in the middle of The Unkindest Tide by Shauna McGuire. This is the 13th book in the October Days series. I am now on page 64. So I did make some progress, not as much as I was hoping. I don't know where all of my time went. Let's just say that. So I thought I was going to be able to get more reading time in, especially because the books that I did read were pretty short, like 180 pages to between 180 and like 250 pages, all of them. Anyway, however, I did not, and so I just did not make as much progress in this as I wanted. But it's still good. I still like it. My buddy is now finished with this book, so I need to get a move on. And then I did also pick up the audiobook for Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. This is the 3rd Murderbot Diaries novella. And I am once again picking it up on audio, and I'm about 15 minutes into the audiobook, so not very far at all. This one is, I think, like 3 hours and 45 minutes. So yeah, not terribly far in. I don't remember what this one is about, so I'm going to find that out as I listen to it. But as for what I'm planning on reading next week, considering how little time I have had to read, all I'm going to say is I want to finish The Unkindest Tide. The sooner the better, so that like we can move on to book 14 whenever we want to, whenever we're ready to. So I'd like to finish this. I really, truly want to finish The Voyage of the Basilisk. I really want to come here next week and just be like, I finished it. I did it. I'm done. Hopefully I can find the time to do that. Even if I just make good progress, that would be so much more than what I've been doing. And then honestly, Rogue Protocol, I'm very likely to finish it by next week. This one, I know I'll listen to it as I'm doing other things, and I will very likely finish it. But I'm not going to... Normally, I'd be like, well, if I finish that, here are some other books I might pick up. No, these are it. That's it. This is all I'm going to try to focus on for next week. And hopefully I am able to finish all of them. But that is it. So if you have any thoughts or feelings about any of the books that I mentioned in this video, please leave me a comment down below, or you can let me know what you are in the middle of. I love hearing about that as well. But that's it for this video. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and until next time, have happy reading, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!